All right, everybody, welcome back to Not Financial Advice. Hit that like and subscribe button for me because today we're going to talk about what effects the Trump raid on Maduro in Venezuela are likely to have not only on the economy and the markets, but also on your portfolio as well as mine. We're going to jump into it right after this.
You need to diversify your bonds.
The only problem you're going to have is that you didn't buy more. Because by the time you read about it in the Wall Street Journal, it's already too late.
All right, let's just start off by way of a fast portfolio update because I'll have some new viewers as well as some returning ones. Looking back over essentially 2025, the market was up. It ended up being about 17% here. The data is a little bit weird at the beginning of the new year, but I did pretty good. I was up somewhere between 12 and 13 points. I did trail the market, but I did so without owning any Bitcoin, Nvidia, Palantir, or any of Tesla, any of those super high PE stocks. And so, just a quick overview, recap of some of the positions I hold. You can see a big total market index fund, Amazon, some value, large and small, Google, healthcare, etc., SCHD, Netflix, um, aerospace defense, among other stocks, things that we're going to talk about. But what's really important is what happened over just the last few days. And so I want you to like the video and subscribe because we're going to talk about it right now. I think a lot of people's fears is that the market would crash because there's concerns about a new war starting. But that's not really how markets work. And so I have a theory, and we're going to see how it plays out. But it's built on a couple premises. So, number one, look at how Donald Trump started talking about Greenland a year or two ago. He wants to acquire, uh, be it Greenland or Iceland. I don't want to confuse the two, but the one that's essentially a territory of Denmark. Um, and in fact, it is Greenland, the big island that is in fact covered with ice, not Iceland, the European country, which is green. So Donald Trump has been talking about acquiring Greenland for some time, and you can also see what else he's got going on with the Trump Arch and the ballroom that he's building. So to me, just from a human standpoint, it seems like President Trump is thinking about what his legacy is going to be. And so that says a lot about this move into Venezuela. What could motivate it? Looking here as we're walking and talking here, we can see how Bitcoin responded. Bitcoin can be a leading indicator for risk assets. And so this is around the time 2:30 a.m. on that date when the raid was announced. And looking at the Maduro raid, the market went down less than a percent, so not a whole lot there. But as markets and pre-markets have been closed, we've seen that Bitcoin has actually rallied up a respectable 2.2% in that interim, showing that this isn't a full-scale war. It's more of just an isolated police action. And so here are my thoughts. I think that Trump may be taking America into a new neo-colonialism phase, one that is a la Art of the Deal. I think that it'll be populist in nature. There's a right-wing populist craze that's taking over South America right now. I don't think that he's going to be mean or hurt these people by any means, but I do think that he's going to extract some of those oil profits. I think he's going to use it to pay off American debt as reparations for damages that he alleges from their participation in a drug war, which is a lot of cocaine to Europe and less so fentanyl to America, but it creates a good cover story. So this is about money. It's not about politics, but that's just what I see. And so what we could see with that is the U.S. dollar, not only being covered by the full faith and credit of the United States, but also by um, South American petrochemicals. So that's really interesting because it says a few other things to us. So what could that also do? That could also subsidize the AI infrastructure build out with cheaper gasoline. Gasoline's a big component of inflation. It could bring down inflation. Um, if our balance sheet is better, it could potentially strengthen the dollar. Now, I'm not a macro economist. That's just a general thought or understanding that I've tried to look into there. So if it strengthens the dollar, that could, and there's less risk of default, that could conceivably make yields go lower. If yields go lower, the price of bonds go higher. But if yields are lower, that could also make value stocks like SCHD or related funds like VTV, it could make them go up. The old economy, talking about industrials as well. So building out, rebuilding Venezuela, you're going to need industrial companies to do that. And so just looking at a couple of different things, I think aerospace and defense, that clearly could be a thing. So here are some pre-market. Let's just take a look and see if any of these seem to be reacting to what's going on in reference to the attack in Venezuela. So space satellites, that may or may not be related to what's going on. There's a couple in here that I see, but also keep in mind that, Trump and Hegseth put out their doctrine for, sort of our foreign policy mission statement that we're going to control the Western Hemisphere, a la Monroe Doctrine. This may also be signaling to China that they can take Taiwan and Taiwan Semiconductor. And so you see Intel moving up higher, 2.5%. The thesis on this stock, I think in the past, today has been that it's a national security asset. Rocket companies, is that finance or is that aerospace and defense? I don't have that memorized, but you see Intel on there. Okay, so homeownership. So could that be the thought that rates go down and that causes a housing boom? So getting some housing participation, talking about, aerospace and defense, industrials, rates coming down, talks about financials and small caps, but also AI being subsidized, AI infrastructure build out being subsidized. I see this as probably a bullish cycle. You can see Oracle interesting in their correlation possibly to Intel as opposed to others, NVIDIA looking up. And so, yeah, so these are some of the active gainers in the pre-market right now, Sunday evening. That's active. Let's just look at gainers. So Cato Corporation, I do believe this is a aerospace and defense, up 13%, a small cap. It doesn't. So these are just all different things that I'm speculating about. But some of the sectors and ETFs stocks that I own that I think are going to do well, I think small cap value is going to do well. It's probably one of my top 5 positions. You can see where it's at. You can see it's trying to break out. It's got a very coiled spring look to this here. Industrials, they haven't been doing much for a while. Actually, they've been doing quite good for a while. So over the last year, they've gained more than the market, but you can see it looks like the industrials are starting to break out, sort of a broadening in the market. This looks pretty bullish. There's been growth slash consolidation, but the next move appears to be higher. A lot of consolidation here. So probably is going to go one of two directions. But SCHD's not been doing a lot for the last 3 years or so. The thought is that would go higher, and then some individual stocks that may be trying to do something or turn around. There could still be growth there. Intel. In fact, it'll be fun to look at it over the max. I don't own charts like that anymore, but I know people who do and are pretty happy about it. And then I think Caterpillar is probably going to be the single biggest stock to benefit.